Hello students, I Dr. Apurva Anand, Dean School of Engineering, Head of Department Mechanical Engineering BBT University. Today I am going to take lecture number 17 on advanced welding on topic unit number 3 that is heat flow in welding, and the topics I am going to take today is around weld thermal cycles. Student, this is unit number 3 as per your syllabus, and this is very important and fundamental unit in understanding the how the thermal cycles are happening, or what is the changes in the material happening. Material and the changes due to which you are doing the welding, due to which the material properties are changing or they might be affected. So, and how the heat management is done, or how you can control the heat management, because heat has always an effect on material property, you know very well. If it changes to a great extent, then while doing welding, then it will the type of material which we are going to get after the welding will of no use. So, you have to see while doing the welding what will be the how the heat and what how heat is managed, or heat management is there, and how the mechanical properties are related. So, we will see one by one. This is a very important unit number 3, and there are many topics in this unit, but that first one is that heat flow welding, calculation of the peak temperature, width of heat affected zone, cooling rate and solidification rate, weld thermal cycles, residual stresses and their measurement, weld distortion and its prevention. Friends, you see the last topic, weld distortion and its prevention. That means while doing welding, when you increase the temperature, there will be definitely distortion, there will be definitely residual stresses which are going to you have to face during this welding. So, it depends on the welding thermal cycles, cooling rate and solidification rate, and then only these two topics which I have marked from the red color, that is heat flow welding, cooling rate and solidification rate and weld thermal cycle. If you understand this cycle, then only if you understand the cycle, this is the first phase where you will understand that how you increase the heat and how it gets cooled down. So, for this you have to, I will take today 3 topics only, that is weld thermal cycle. I will take first, in your syllabus it is in the same order, but according to my understanding, student must read first weld thermal cycle, understand weld thermal cycles, then cooling rates and solidification rate and heat flow in welding will be automatically, and other topics will be automatically understood by you when you will understand these terminologies, or the significance, or what we call as you will have a basic understanding. So, students, anything which comes under heat or heat source, the temperature will rise, and if you remove that heat sources, the temperature will come down. You know very well, this is the basic phenomena of heat flows, fine. So, we will try to understand the same thing in our term of welding. What do? You take a base material, you do the welding part with the help of a electrode or some other means like laser, electron beam welding, anything of what we have studied till now in unit number 2. What we do whenever we are definitely supplying the heat, and with our electrodes, with laser beams, with electron beam, with explosive in explosion welding. So, we are providing heat. So, definitely the temperature will go up, shoots up to certain limit. After that, what is going to happen? When it will reach to a certain level where it is not possible to go up, that will be your peak temperature. After that it has to come down. Again your welding might has completed, you have removed the torch, you have removed the laser, you have removed the electron beam, and then it has to cool down. During this period, the beam the base material during this period undergoes lot of changes, structural changes. So, if the area of the structural changes is very large, that means you are affecting the property of our material for which you have decided to take. So, that is not correct. You need to do a welding in such a way that the property change must be less, the property change must be restricted to some very small area only, not to the whole workpiece. So, we will take one by one. Significance of thermal effect. The thermal conditions in and near weld govern the resulting metallurgical structure, mechanical properties, residual stresses and distortion of particular significance are weld wet area, weld bed area, weld solidification rate, peak temperature in the heat affected zone, width of the heat affected zone, cooling rate in the weld and heat affected zone. So, these are the significant outcome of the thermal effects. The thermal effect will be in these 4 or 5 areas only, and we have to study one by one. Before going to the later understanding of thermal effects, we have to first understand that how a weld bed will look like, what will be the what are the nomenclature on the base metal. So, I will take one by one. You can see this is the base metal, this is the heat affected zone. You can see this is the heat affected zone, this is heat affected zone. This is the weld bed, this is the weld bed. This is the fusion zone where the electrode is electrode is you are using electrode and you are creating this fusion zone where welding is going on, and this is the heat source. This is the heat source where the torch is there or the laser is coming and or the electron beam you are putting. So, this is the heat source. So, these are the 3 different things which you have to remember, because whole of the study of this welding thermal thermal part will be around this area only. So, it should be very clear in your mind that what is heat affected zone, what is fusion zone, what is heat source, because if you do not understand the terminologies, they are almost similar, they are almost at the same place. So, you will never get the clear idea that what I am talking about. Now, what are the heat sources? There are possible heat sources. If you compare, if you see the welding techniques, you will find there will be 4-5 type of energy source, heat sources. Heat sources always will be electrical source like electrode, simple in arc welding. Mechanical sources like chemical sources, explosive welding is an example of chemical sources, termite welding, and also your oxo-fuel gas welding. High energy source like laser beam welding, electron beam welding, and other sources are diffusion welding and all. So, these are the heat sources. So, I have told you the on a base material different terminologies, and I have also told you that what are the heat sources which are going to come in contact with that workpiece, and in that you have to remember that one will be the heat source and one will be the heat absorber, fine. So, workpiece will be the heat absorber and your different techniques from which you do the welding will be the heat source here. In mechanical it is like friction stir welding, in electrical sources arc welding, resistance welding or electrosag welding are few examples which I have taken for your understanding. Students, when we do the welding you have to understand that from this diagram that how we are doing the welding. You in the diagram 1 you are seeing in the diagram 1 you are seeing this workpiece, this is the weld bed, this is the weld bed. You are seeing from side view, you are seeing the side view. So, number 2, number 1, number 3, number 4, number 5, these are the position of these are the positions marked on the base material. So, the weld pool is this, weld pool is this, and these are the position marked, and you are seeing the workpiece from front side view, you are seeing the workpiece from side view. And in the second diagram, you see you are seeing from the top, and the same thing is there, this is the welding done, this is the location of heat source, these are the point of interest, A and B are the point where which is one is nearby to the heat source and the other one is at a longer place from the heat source. And on the x axis welding time is shown and on the y axis temperature is shown. So, if you see the graph, gradually it increases the temperature as the welding is done. Point number 2, if you see the point number 2 or 1, if you see the temperature is increasing, and then when you remove the weld source, then there is a cooling going on, cooling rate has been shown, and that is the curve nature is same, but different relation you are getting for temperature and time, function of time. One is at the looks slightly larger, one is looking below that, other one is for, if you see I will show you, if you see this graph, see the T2 position is this, T2 position is this, you see this is T1 position, and you see this T3 position, you see this T4 position, and you see this T5 position. It is giving you certain it is giving you certain idea that what exactly is happening. As you go away from the heat source, the peak is less, and as you go towards the heat source, the peak is high, the higher peak and the cooling curve. So, students, remember one thing, you cannot get a single graph, because this graph temperature versus function of time will differ for different type of welding. It may be less or it may be large depending on the type of welding you are doing. We have taken these two positions A and B. It is the easier graph, same graph which has been made easy for you. This is position A and this is position B. B is far position and A is a position which is point of interest near to the heat source. So, see, if it is point B, you can see this point B, you can see this is point number B and this is point number A. So, B is slightly away from the weld source. So, this is the graph, and point B, which is slightly point A is this, the peak is high and it is, you are getting a higher temperature because it is A is near to the heat source, and B is what is happening, it is away. So, you are not getting that much peak, and then this is the graph. It is the easier graph for your study purpose. You can take this is the experimental graph which is for your understanding. So, students, you must have understood by this time that this weld thermal cycle is drawn between temperature and with respect to time, and it basically tells you the material properties, or it will let you know how the how the temperature behavior is there if you pick different points from the heat source or the weld bed. You can easily imagine what is happening here. So, weld thermal cycle shows variation in temperature of a particular location in and around weld during the welding as a function of time. As heat source approaches close to the location of interest, point of interest, first temperature increases heating regime, followed by a gradual decrease in the temperature cooling regime. A typical weld thermal cycle has been shown in figure 1 and 2, explained to you all the rate of heating peak temperature and time required for attaining the peak temperature and the cooling rate. Since distance of point of interest is away from the weld center line, directly affect all the above parameters, heating and cooling rate. Peak temperature of weld cycles, therefore, each location and point offers different and unique weld thermal cycles. If you go at different position, you will get different type of graph. That is what that first graph figure number 1 was showing. So, again you have to understand here, in general an increase in the distance of the point, what is the conclusion of this thermal cycle. So, in general, increase in the distance of a point of interest away from the weld center line decreases the peak temperature, you can see here, decreases the peak temperature, decreases the rate of heating and cooling, increases the time to attain peak temperature, and decreases the rate of cooling with increase in time. That is what exactly has been shown here. The same graph figure number 2 I have taken here for you. So, factors affecting welding thermal cycles. So, weld thermal cycles varies with distance from weld center line where the welding is going on, but is also influenced by many other conditions like heat input rate. What is the heat input rate you are giving? Amount of heat supplied for welding, the weldment geometry you are getting, you will get a circular one, you will get an oval one. So, weldment geometry is very important, and the thermal properties of the base material, initial plate temperature, sometime we preheat the welding plates, base material plates we are going to do the welding. So, the property will change. So, these are the factors that affect the welding thermal cycles. We take one by one. Students, you see this graph, I said that time when I was taking the first slide, that according to the time and according to the type of welding we do, like EB electron beam welding and laser welding, you can see this is taking the peak temperature you are getting. With respect to time, you see it is taking less time because the heat input is high and the cooling rate is also very fast. If you take submerged arc welding or gas metal inert gas welding, then you can see the peak temperature with respect to time you are taking more, and then again the cooling rate, again you can see ESW, electro slag welding. To get this peak temperature you are taking this much time, see. So, and again the cooling rate. So, the type of welding you are going to get, laser welding or electron wave welding, why it is said the best quality of weld beds we are getting, because these phenomena. Fine, and you see the electro slag welding is taking the peak is taking more time, and then while coming it is taking also more time. So, we do not want to have that, because that is going to change our material property in a when you come more when compared to electron beam welding or laser beam welding, fine. So, heat input rate affecting weld thermal cycles, fine. We will take the other part here. Heat input is primarily governed by energy density of heat source, which to a great extent depend on the welding process being used for development of weld joints beside the welding parameters. High energy density process like plasma arc welding and laser arc welding offer higher rate of heating, peak temperatures and cooling rates. Then the low energy density processes such as gas welding, shielded metal arc welding shown in figure number 3. And heat is higher is the energy density of welding process, higher the energy density of the welding process lowers the heat input, higher the energy density lowers the heat input. Remember this is the conclusion of this temperature versus time graph. Again thickness of the plate is also affecting the heat rate. If it is thin, it will has its own output, and if it is thicker, then it will have its own output. Weld geometry parameters such as thickness of the plate being welded also affect the heating rate, soaking time and cooling rate for the given rate of heat input. In general, an increase in thickness of the plate increases the rate of heat transfer from weld pool or heat affected zone to the metal, which in turn decreases the temperature retention time of HAZ, decreases the solidification time, increases the cooling rate experienced by HAZ and weld metal. Sorry. So, students, you see this diagram, you must have seen lap welding, butt welding and all, you have must studied. So, same diagram is there, nothing great, but you can see the effect of relative plate thickness and effect of heat flow paths. In this diagram, if you see, this is a thin plate. So, the heat flow is less, you can see here the heat flow is less. If it is a thick plate, heat flow is to a larger area. So, again it is going to affect your material property. If it is slow, then definitely the rate of solidification and all will be affected by it. And then if it is fast, then again you will have property, you will have effect on the solidification properties and all, it will have its own effect. You can see the heat flow paths, effect of heat flow paths. If you can see here, the type of welding joints we are using, multiple path increases effective plate thickness. So, it depends on the what type of welding we are doing, according to that welding material thickness and all, also the heat flow paths and relative thickness of that will have its own effect. Thermal properties of metal affecting the heat rate. Thermal properties of metal like thermal conductivity and specific heat also have a effect on the weld thermal cycles, similar to that of thickness of plate. As they increases, the rate of heat transfer from the weld metal and HAZ also increases. If it is less, then it will be have less heat transfer will be less. Preheating of plates has an important role. So, preheating of plate reduces the rate of heating and cooling and increases the peak temperature and soaking period above a certain temperature, because preheating reduces the rate of heat transfer away from the weld zone, away from the weld zone. Students, peak temperature, after getting peak temperature, what is the structural changes we can see near the weld beds or the weld zone. So, peak temperature, you can see in the diagram, maximum temperature has been shown, and what is happening, you can see this diagram. The blue one is solid weld metal area, and after that from the yellow it is a solid liquid boundary. After that, from the red one which I have shown, it is a grain growth zone, again the recrystalline zone, partially transformed zone, tempered zone, and unaffected material. So, this should be very compact. It should not get involve the whole base material or maximum portion of the base material, because it will change the structure of the material. You must have these terms, recrystallized zone, grain growth zone, you have studied in the material science when you have studied material science in your second year. So, peak temperature near the weld fusion boundary decides the width of heat effect zone. Heating and cooling rate affects the microstructure of the weld metal. I already said it has a effect, and what is the effect? That is what I am talking about. Weld thermal cycle of each point becomes of great interest, especially in structure sensitive metals like high carbon steel. So, students, the welding, when you do, the temperature has its role in changing the property of the material. Cooling rate and solidification rate. The final microstructure of weld zone and HAZ is primarily determined by the cooling rate from the peak temperature attained due to the weld thermal cycles during welding. Cooling rate above the particular temperature, say 550 degrees Celsius, for a plain carbon eutectoide steel is of great importance in case hardened steel, where a cooling rate determines the final microstructure and mechanical properties of welding and HAZ. Since the microstructure of hardened steel has direct correlation with mechanical properties, therefore, structure sensitive mechanical properties are affected by the cooling rate experienced by weld metal and heat affected zone. So, you have seen the graph, earlier graph. So, this is what we are getting from the heat affected zone. So, depending on the type of material you are choosing and the type of material properties change you can bear, you have to choose the type of welding processes. For this, I have already shown you this graph. Remember, the type of welding processes you are getting, and you can bear the property changes, depends on the type of what you requirement. If it is going to a aerospace part, then you need to understand that what type of welding is used. The combination of engineer has to keep this in mind. So, with this, students, today I am going to end my lecture, and these are the reference books for you which you can study. You can take the first reference which is very important, which has this book is very good, and I have also given a link at the end, which is NPTEL link, which you will find interesting, and you can get more material and for study from this. So, with this I will end my lecture. Thank you very much and all the best.